Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Welcome. I'm an historian and I live in this cupboard. Today I'm just randomly popping my head out to talk to you about the period between Richard Cromwell and the restoration of the monarchy. Now, who is Richard Cromwell, you may ask? Well, that's why I'm here, in a room with no historical significance, to talk to you about Richard Cromwell. Over the next few minutes, we'll attempt to show you what happened during the period with a series of shaky camera angles, some poor acting, and a non-existent budget. We begin with the death of Oliver Cromwell in 1658.
Don't die on me, Father. Richard. Yes? Don't let the Stuarts take England. Don't let the Catholics back. Father? To England. Your Lord Protector now should continue my work. Father, no!
With his father dead, the protectorate was passed on to his son, Richard. This increased tensions with Lambert, as he believed he deserved the right to run England. I now pronounce you Lord Protector.
The first group which we must understand are those known as the civilian Cromwellians, which included Broghill and Richard's brother, Henry. Wonder who was the favourite in that family. They wished to see a more traditional parliamentary settlement and a reduction of the army's influence. Opposed to the civilians were the Republicans. They wanted to see the end of the protectorate completely, and the offering of the crown to Richard's father, Oliver, had only heightened their concerns. So, in conclusion, the civilian Cromwellians were in support of Richard's protectorate, though they wanted changes, as shown here by this happy face. However, the Republicans were not in support of Richard's protectorate, as they were concerned about the offering of the crown to Richard's father, as shown by this unhappy face. This moves us on nicely to the Third Protectorate Parliament.
In 1659, Richard called the Third Protectorate Parliament, beginning his short reign. Initially, Richard was accepted positively by those in Parliament, but not for long. Richard supported the views of civilian Cromwellians against the military Cromwellians supported by his father, and, of course, the Republicans, with their intransigence, just refused to accept Richard as Lord Protector.
Right guys, how's it going?
God, you.
So who is this Richard Cromwell then?
I'm right here.
Oh.
In the next couple of clips, we've chosen to exaggerate Richard's behaviour.
Who are you?
I'm Cromwell.
No you're not.
I'm Richard Cromwell.
Oh, that Cromwell. Where's Oliver?
I need to pass some laws.
Stop
it! You MPs are so childish!
And he calls us spiders.
Who is this new guy again?
Rodney?
Ronald? No.
Ricky?
It wasn't Ricky, it was definitely
Rupert Cromwell.
Rupert, Ronald.
Richie.
Ronald.
Richie Cromwell. I think it was Ronald, you know.
Ronald
Cromwell.
Our new Lord Protector,
Ronald Cromwell.
My name's Richard!
Oh.
After crying in a corner, Richard was forced by the army to dissolve Parliament.
In the army, the Grandaes wanted Richard's protectorate to continue, while the junior officers felt that the Grandaes were doing nothing to help their best interests.
Do you know what? I'm so bloody sick of them Cromwells and them Grandaes. They don't care about people like us, the little man.
I know, yeah. It's totally unfair. As you were, men.
In May of 1659, it all kicked off. Junior officers had been subject to Republican propaganda and demanded the rump, as seen here in this badly acted clip.
Do you know what? I think that we should take control of this army. There's more of us than there are of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh look, here they come.
That's darling. Should we go bully the juniors again?
Yes, let's. Hello, juniors. Oi. You. We're in control now.
Desmond, help me.
We want you to dissolve the parliament. Dissolve the parliament. Alright?
Stand.
Parliament.
I'll do it.
Now go.
Desmond, I'm bloody terrified.
The Grandaes were forced reluctantly to recall the rump Parliament.
After the end of Richard's protectorate, Lambert used his position to take control of English affairs. On the 13th of May, Lambert presented the humble petition of address to the recalled rump. It included 15 articles. In particular, a 13th clause aimed to protect the army. The main opponent, however, was Hazelrig, who would not accept a reduction in the authority of the rump. The fragile alliance between the Republicans was only saved upon the rising of George Booth. With risk of national anarchy, George Booth's rising in Cheshire portrayed underlying social tensions brought about by political problems. Booth, a conservative Presbyterian, faced overwhelming opposition from Lambert and his army in a brief but intense encounter at Willington Bridge. The name of the rising also allowed us to include the following image. On their return from Cheshire, Lambert's army drew up the Derby petition, expressing anger at the failure of the rump. Believing that the rump had been undermining the position of the army, Lambert and his troops surrounded Westminster and removed it on the 13th of October, 1659.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must warn you that the following clips are not for the faint-hearted. You may think that you have seen it all. You may think that you are fearless. You may think that you're prepared. But you can never be prepared. You can never, ever be prepared for the Quakers. We now move to Scotland, where George Monk removed religious radicals from his forces based on his fear of the Quakers. We would like to apologise in advance to our Scottish viewers for the following clip.
What are you doing here, you wee radical loon?
Leave. That's right. Leave your radical alone.
After the collapse of the Committee of Safety, the rump was reinstated on the 26th of December 1659. Monk therefore chose to move into England, reaching the border on the 1st of January 1660, an event which symbolises the start of a great new year.
What is this foreign land? Aye, it's England. I've arrived.
Reaching London on the 3rd of February, Monk remodelled the armed forces. Anything Quakerish had to go, including Fleetwood, Desborough and especially Lambert.
What did you do to my army?
You shall feel the force of the sun.
I am Lambert! What? No!
We have now been asked to tell you that Monk did not really have the force and Lambert was not actually locked in a cupboard. The following clip is more likely what actually happened.
Leave. Leave. You true goddamn radical.
Get off me lawn.
Get out. Tried to take a military suit coup, but it didn't work, and all this Scottish bastard doing all this. Oh, he's getting rid of me. But I will be back. I will return.
Of course you will. Get out.
With England now in his hands and supported by Fairfax, Monk made contact with Charles Stuart, who was somewhere in Europe.
Hey up, Charlie boy. What you doing?
Hello, old chap. I'd love to help you, but I'm a little bit busy right now. Don't speak to me with that tone of voice.
After a long night and a hangover, Charles Stuart produced the Declaration of Breda on the 4th of April 1660. He stated that if he was restored, he would rule as a traditional monarch through Parliament.
It also promised the army its arrears, a pardon to all of Charles's subjects bar a few individuals who signed his dad's death warrant, and even liberty of conscience, which was basically freedom of religion. Now, I know what you're thinking. Breda sounds like a cheese. Now, I don't want to disappoint you, but we've looked this up, and Breda is indeed not a cheese.
I am pardoned!
I'm not.
The Convention Parliament, which first assembled on the 25th of April, was made up of moderate parliamentarians. It was divided as to whether to restrict the powers of the returning monarch. On the 8th of May, Charles Stuart was declared King Charles II.
I crown you King Charles II of England, Scotland and Ireland.
Mercy. Wee wee!
Yay!
So, that was I, an historian, talking to you about history in a room with no historical significance. I'm just popping back into Miss Clancy's cupboard to resume my 15-year search for the lost city of Atlantis. Thank you and good night.